Hey guys, I'm Expertin, welcome back to my channel, and today I have got a godlike build for you guys. Like, I'm talking straight up unkillable. With this build, you guys will be unkillable. Nothing will be able to stop you. Literally. Okay. So starting with the subclass, the super, you want to have Hammer of Soul, and the reason for this is because with one of our aspects here, with the Soul Invictus, what it does is solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets creates sunspots. So whenever you hit a target with Hammer of Soul, which is the super, it will spawn sunspots. And your abilities will also regenerate faster, and your super drains slower while you're standing in a sunspot. So every time you create a sunspot, your super will last way longer. And sunspots will also scorch and deal damage over time to any targets inside of it. And the longer they're scorched, that's the more damage they will take. Entering a sunspot will apply restoration. What restoration is, it's healing over time. That is the most powerful perk of this entire subclass. Restoration is extremely overpowered, and I'll show you guys why. But basically what it is, it's healing over time. It's very, very powerful. Okay, now for your barricade here, you want to have rally barricade. Just because of the cooldown, that's all really. It doesn't really matter what barricade you have, but rally is just better because it has a quicker cooldown. It's 8 seconds quicker, as you can see here. So it just has more uptime. That's why I chose this barricade. For your melee, you need to have throwing hammer. Throwing hammer is very good. So what it does is you throw it, and when it hits the ground, you can pick it back up. And when you do that, you're granted cure. And what cure is basically it's like a quick healing effect. So when you throw your hammer, you pick it up, you get healed very fast. It's great for like getting out of sticky situations and you need to quickly get out of danger and heal yourself. But it's also great for proccing Roaring Flames. And what Roaring Flames does is, whenever we get final blows with your solar abilities or ignitions, explosions, it will increase the damage of your solar abilities. And with the throwing hammer, you can literally just keep throwing it at low tier minor adds, and it will just one-shot them. But when you get Roaring Flames racked up, throwing hammer can do some serious damage to even majors or even bosses for that matter. Throwing hammer is really good. Okay, for your grenade, I'd say you want fusion grenade or incendiary grenade. You want to scorch targets as much as possible, because when you scorch them enough, they will ignite and explode, dealing an AoE to nearby enemies. And the more scorch that you apply to your targets, that's the more damage over time they will take too. So yeah, the grenade is pretty much optional, but I personally prefer fusion grenade. Okay, fragments, this is the important part. This is what makes the most of the build. For my first fragment, I have Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants will make you and nearby allies radiant. It's a damage buff for you and your allies, and then we're pairing that with Ember of Solace so that whenever we're radiant and whenever we get restoration, so when we get the damage buff and whenever we get healed over time from restoration, they will have significantly increased duration, which is not only great for our survivability, but also for keeping up our DPS buff uptime. And for my third fragment here, I have Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets because, like I said, the more storage stacks you have, that's the quicker they ignite, and it's also the more damage they take over time. This essentially is just to make ad clearing a little bit more better. And for the very last fragment here, I have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy. This one's important, primarily because we're mainly relying on our melee here. This build is mainly about throwing our hammers and getting healed from picking it up and proccing restoration so that we can keep sustaining our health, and it literally makes you a tank. Like, it's honestly crazy the damage you can tank. It's honestly crazy. But yeah, that's it for the aspects and fragments. Now we're going on to the armor. Okay. First mod you're going to want is Bountiful Wells. This is going to double every well that you drop. Very nice for getting your abilities back. The second mod you're going to need is Well of Life. This mod right here is what makes Solar Titans so tanky. This is what makes Solar Titans overpowered. What it is whenever we pick up a Solar Elemental Well, which we're going to be dropping a lot of, it's going to give us increased regeneration for a short period of time. So it's basically like a secondary restoration. Think of it that way. And yeah, it's very powerful. And it does stack with restoration. And dude, it just makes you extremely tanky. Alright. Chest mods you want to have. You want to make sure you have Armor of the Dying Star. This is a very overpowered mod. It only costs 2 energy, and what you're getting is honestly nuts. Like, you're getting reduced solar damage and void damage from combatants. Now, as you can see, my chest piece is actually void, but you want it to be arc. Reason being is because you can actually, because in this slot here, right now it says void damage resistance, but if my armor was arc, you would have arc resistance here. So if you had that, you would have damage resistance to all damage types, which is great for survivability. And for our elemental well mod here, I have melee well maker. Powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental wells matching my subclass energy type. This is very powerful because, like I said, with throwing hammers, dude, it's always up. Like, it's literally always up because it's so easy to get back. You literally just throw it and you pick it up. You don't even have to kill targets with it. You can literally just throw it around the map and just pick it up, and you just get it back instantly. It's just crazy. Alright. Fourth mod, Elemental Ornaments. Combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element will have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. This is primarily just for like your solar weapons. You don't really need this mod. This is more of like a filler slot. But that's the mod I would recommend. If not that, then you could actually go with Elemental Ordnance, just so that your grenades could also spawn wells now. To help you get your barricade back. Okay, and for the last set of mods you're gonna need, you're gonna make sure that your mark is void, and the reason being is because with void you get perpetuation. Sorry. What this does is it reduces your class ability cooldown whenever you're using your class ability, which sounds weird, but basically what it means is whenever you cast your class ability, every single time you'll get a small chunk of it back. And you can double stack this as well. And for the final mod of this insane build, you will need Phantomite. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type will grant you a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. We pick up the wells from our melee well maker. We pick that up, we get a damage buff for all of our solar weapons. And by the way, Phantomite does stack. Phantomite does stack with Ember of Torches. So whenever we hit a target with our melee, not only will we get a damage buff from that, but we will also get a damage buff from picking up the solar elemental wells we get from killing targets with our throwing hammer. And get that damage buff too. Okay, as far as weapons, it's totally up to you, to be honest. However, the best weapons for this build to pair with would be, honestly, the new weapons with the new perk, Incandescent. I believe that's what it's called. That would be great if you have one of the new weapons with that new perk. That would be great to use. Teraba is awesome. Galahorn is Galahorn, obviously. We already know that's insane. Yeah. Parasite's also a great option here, because we're always going to be focusing on our getting melee kills and just getting kills with our abilities in general. So you can just swap to Parasite and just one-shot bosses. Now importantly, you want to make sure that your resilience is very high for this build. Your resilience and recovery, to be exact. Ideally, you want to make sure you have at least tier 7 resilience and recovery, just so you can be as tanky as possible. I'd say ideally try to shoot for 100 resilience to get the absolute best results of this build. But either way, you're going to be super tanky. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys this build in action in the 1560 Lost Sector. Let me change my weapons here because of the modifiers. Alright, let's go. Show you guys this build in action. Okay, here we go. Alright, so when you're starting out, you want to ideally cast your barricade first to drop the yeah, as I was saying, you want to drop your barricade when you're first going into combat. Reason being is because whenever you pop your barricade, it will spawn a solar rift that will heal you over time, which just gets the build going. Alright, stun the champion. Yeah, as you can see, this build is freaking amazing, guys. I literally don't have to worry about dying at all. It is basically impossible to die with this build, you guys. Like, no joke. You could just run around, not having to worry about dying at all. It's pretty crazy. That moth threw my melee off. Alright, let's proceed. Yeah, look, it just crushes it. Just crushes these enemies. This build makes you a super tank. Literally unkillable, you guys. As long as you make sure to keep on picking up your melee to give you cure and picking up the wells for the healing over time, you are literally unkillable. Like, look, I just got full on blasted by that scream and I still survived it. That is how tanky this build is. Alright, we're in the boss room now. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this, please consider subscribing to my channel. I plan on making more build guides and things like this. Alright. Why is he hiding? I hate that. Alright, we're gonna have to do another round here, which is fine. I don't know why he was hiding there. Alright, got him this time. Yeah, that's it. That's the build in action, guys. The build is freaking amazing. That entire... Oh, and look at that. I got a one-eyed mask. What a great way to end the video up. But yeah, you saw there, the build is amazing. Like, it makes you a super tank. Now, if you're playing... If you're just casually playing through regular content, like, you're gonna have a lot easier time surviving than I was there. Because, you know, I was taking some damage. I had close calls, but if you're just doing general content, enemies are not even going to be able to tickle you. Like, it's insane. It's honestly just a really powerful build. That's the build in action. I love this build so much. Titans are finally the true tank of Destiny 2. Alright, you guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and share with your friends. Subscribe to keep updated on my videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching and have a great day.